Thank you for inviting me into your mobile devices, homes, computers, wherever you're watching this video. This is a very special Ford, a 1922 Model T center door. The Model T Ford was produced between 1908 and 1927 in 29 different factories worldwide, including such places like Brazil, England, Japan, and even France. One thing at Panavia, we're very special in Le Mans history. And actually, Model T Ford was in the first Le Mans race. A French Model T Ford that was a stripped down special came in 14th overall in the 1923 running of Le Mans. This particular car is a center door, and you can really see the lineage between the horseless carriage era of, vehicular design and transport design and this car, because the only way in or out of the car are two doors that literally are in the center. So you have to crawl in and then forward to get to the driver's seat. Originally, when the car was produced, it didn't even have a passenger seat. That was where your man drove you to the train station and you put your bag there, and that was what you were supposed to do. This one is also very rare because it's in one piece and it's only on its third owner in almost 100 years. It has a very special option that was actually released a year later, but this car has it. We're not sure about where and when exactly this car was produced or if it's been modified since new. But come on and take a peek in the engine bay. We've got an electric starter. Ooh. And it still has the crank starter hole in the front. So there was various nicknames for cranking over by hand, such as ankle biters and kneecap breakers, because if it kicked back on you and hit you with legs, you can get very hurt very quick. This particular car, as we talked about earlier, is 3 owners from new, and it was in somebody's collection for years and years and years. And obviously it was like Silence on Lambs and the Moth guys, because they absolutely love this thing. If you take a look at the paintwork, and we'll show you some glossy paintwork shots, I'm just in love with this paint job. But it's really interesting that they produced over 14 million of these things over the production run, and to this day they're still around. They're incredibly simple and people love them, and there's a community that follows them. So I wanted to do something on the suspension of the Model T, because designs that were implemented here ended up controlling most of the 20th century wheels and tires that were rolling around. So notice the spring up here. So that's a leaf spring, and it's going between the right and the left wheels. That was a similar design to much later cars, all the way through the 40s and 50s for Ford, and into the 1960s for something called the 289 Cobra. The leaf springs going across also was a Corvette thing, I think, until 2013. So a long time on the same basic design. Where most people have seen leaf springs is on the back of pickup trucks by having a pair of them suspend the back wheels. And on some Jeeps, it suspends all 4 wheels. The other interesting thing here is the steering rod goes from a center point and then it connects the two by a rather long rod, where we today have replaced this long rod with an actual steering rack itself. I wanted to do a startup and rev video, and so basically we're going to have Robert started. So give a little gas. Whole whopping 40 horsepower. So here we are on the inside of the Model T, and it's controlled totally differently than cars are today, and even most of the 20th century cars were not controlled this way. So on the floor, on the extreme left-hand side, we have the 2-speed gearbox pedal. In the middle, it's the reverse gear, and on the far right is the brake. So talk about confusing. On the steering wheel, notice how there's no gas pedal on the floor. On the steering wheel, your throttle is on the right-hand side and is this little lever here. And then on the left-hand side, you have a timing control to advance or retard the timing of the spark, the ignition on the motor. And so literally it's controlled unlike any other vehicle from the 20th century.